Hey friends, I'm back from California. I bet some of you didn't even know I was in California, but now I'm back in Canada. We're gonna be talking about a bunch of the controversy and drama surrounding the movie The Hunt. Also, don't worry, I'm aware of the news. I also realize that this is a two-way tango and that we can be mad at Sony, Disney, everybody except Tom Holland, the little angel. And I'll probably make a video about it because I don't know, you guys should probably know I'm like I'm a pretty big fan. So for those of you who don't know, The Hunt was a movie coming out, being distributed by Universal. I think it was produced by Blumhouse, or Blumhouse, depending on, I think it's Bloom. Either way, you know, the people who make a bunch of the weird horror movies and then occasionally have these really fantastic movies like Get Out. But I remember watching this trailer on stream, because that's something I do a lot on stream. We'll watch trailers. I don't always pay the most attention, because obviously I'm focusing on the chat. I have focus issues, I'm not sure if you've noticed. But basically what I gathered while watching it was that it was a movie about two groups of people where, you know, some people were hunting down other people, kind of similar to the Purge, but I didn't quite grasp like why they were hunting down one group of people. I'm like, is it like socioeconomic reasons? Is it like the Hunger Games? Is it just kind of where they're born or something? I was then informed that apparently the original title of the movie was Red State versus Blue State, so it's supposed to be liberals hunting down conservatives, actually. So we'll get that. That's going to become very, very pertinent in a moment here, but the whole thing is supposed to be a satirical commentary on the current state of America, which I get is the tensions there are running quite high, but there's been a lot of drama surrounding the situation. So obviously one of the big things that sparked this was the tragic events that occurred in El Paso and Daytona. I'm not going to get into specifics of those situations, but that started bringing up a bunch of conversations about things that might cause somebody to do that have nothing to do with why somebody might do that. So if they weren't blaming video games, they started trickling down into stuff like this. And the reason why this specific movie ended up getting some heat on it is because Donald Trump actually tweeted about it, commenting on how it was very harmful and causing more of a divisive nature in the country, totally leaving out the fact that in his own tweet, he's making a greater divide in like the two party sides by, you know, saying that it's like, oh no, it's not them that are elite, it's actually us that are elite. Like, how about you're all just American citizens and you should be hoping for the best for your fellow people? But whatever. I will continue. So basically right after that, Universal ended up releasing a statement stating, well, Universal Pictures had already paused the marketing campaign for The Hunt. After thoughtful consideration, the studio has decided to cancel our plans to release the film. We stand by our filmmakers and will continue to distribute films in partnership with bold and visionary creators like those associated with the satirical social thriller, but we understand that now is not the right time to release this film. So that's where there's a little bit of confusion. A lot of people are saying that it's being canceled, other people are saying it's just being delayed, and honestly, in just this one statement, they both use the term cancel and then say not the right time. So I do believe that this will be released. Maybe it'll be like something with the interview where it just gets pushed to streaming services. We'll just have to see. For one, the fact that they paused the marketing campaign after the tragedy is one thing, but I just really feel the need to stress home that there have been so many studies conducted on this, that content from movies to music to video games do not encourage people to become more aggressive. As was seen in that Oxford study, there was no correlation found between children and teenagers playing violent video games and an increase in aggressive behavior, specifically the level of aggressive behavior that would cause somebody to commit a mass act of violence. So this continuous insistence on trying to blame stuff like this for these tragedies happening is just doing a disservice to everyone. It's not helpful. It's not going to help solve any problems. It's literally not getting anybody anywheres, and the stuff's just going to keep happening. You know, 20 years ago it was Marilyn Manson. Now it's video games. So while I can understand, you know, we've just dealt with a tragedy, maybe not showing trailers for a movie where people are getting hunted down might not be the best thing. I get that. But like, at what point are we going to just at what point is it going to be we can't make movies about war? Because wars still happen. Are we just not going to be able to make media about any kind of like real violence because it's exists? I don't know where you're gonna draw the line there. But then we get into the really ridiculous side of things. So, you know, if they wanted to make the decision to kind of pause the ad campaigns because of that tragedy, that I get that. But the people that are trying to jump on it as some kind of like anti-conservative propaganda, where if the reverse was happening, the left would be freaking out, is ridiculous. First of all, the opposite exists. It's called The Purge. The Purge has been consistently getting more political in that way, where it is like the liberal or the lower socioeconomic standards, people of color being hunted down by the elite, by the rich elite people. That has been happening already. And the people of the lower socioeconomic status in those movies are the good guys. Same thing where if in The Hunt, the conservatives are the ones being hunted down, they're the good guys. They're the protagonists. The people hunting down other humans are not the good guys in this movie. Like, I actually do not understand how somebody could watch this trailer and think that it is the elites, as they're being called, that are the good guys in this movie.
Hunting human beings for sport.
They're not human beings.
What I think is happening is that obviously people see a tweet from a president, people see videos and commentaries from different YouTubers, and they don't actually take the 2 seconds to watch the trailer. I'm sorry, the 2.5 minutes to watch the trailer. And people thinking that this movie is just like a group of people running around like Lieutenant Aldo Rain in Inglourious Basterds hunting down Nazis, and they're supposed to be the good guys. But no, the people that are killing the other people are the bad guys. If anything, this looks bad for the liberals. So I don't really understand where that side of the narrative is coming from. Like, I get it, the US is in a very tense political standpoint. This might actually just be too on the nose for right now, because there is huge divides where people on this side are just so adamantly against people on this side. You have violence on both sides. You have extreme levels of violence on both sides, and it's scary. And yeah, I get it. When you have something like this out there that's poking the bear and people aren't going to take the time to see what it's trying to accomplish, it just makes the problem worse, which I can understand it being a huge issue. But at the same time, like, that's what satire is there for. Like, this is just an amped up, most dangerous game. So I basically just been finding this very funny, watching some of these comments pop off being like, this is actually like pro-you. This movie is technically, as it's being displayed, in your favor. And you're freaking out as if it's not. But either way, that drama's been kind of ramping up, and a couple days ago we officially got a statement from the director. So the director, Craig Zobel, basically stated that we just wanted to entertain everyone. And he kind of commented that it was weird that Universal was simultaneously standing by their decision to cancel it, while also saying that it tested extremely well with audiences going into screenings. And in regards to this backlash, he said, "If I believed this film could incite violence, I wouldn't have made it. Our ambition was to poke at both sides of the aisle equally. We seek to entertain and unify, not enrage and divide. It is up to the viewers to decide what their takeaway will be. I wanted to make a fun action thriller that satirized this moment in our culture where we jump to assume we know someone's belief because of which team we think they're on, and then start shouting at them. This rush to judgment is one of the most relevant problems of our time," which I totally agree with. I'm guilty of it. I'm assuming most of the people watching are guilty of it, whether or not they want to acknowledge that in themselves. I think everybody is very quick to just pop off. You see a headline, you see a statement, you see the way something is, and people, you just extrapolate. You say, well, you know, because someone else had this belief and you kind of have this belief, you must be just as shitty as them. And sometimes, yeah, that's going to be true. But a lot of the times, I think it's a disservice not to try to listen to people, not to try to reason with people, to talk with people. Unfortunately, I see a lot of this attitude of, I don't have time to educate somebody on my side. If they're not with me, they're against me. But when I watch videos that talk about how people got out of radicalized situations or other things of that nature, it always starts with, I had a conversation with somebody. Somebody took the time to talk to me. Somebody took the time to reason with me and explain things to me. And I think that that's kind of what we need. I get that everybody wants this pushback. Everybody wants what they believe is right, but you can't just keep amping up, because the other side's not going to cower when you amp up and up. They're just going to keep amping up too. And that's just a sad fact of reality. That's just humanity. That's just human nature. So if this movie exists to point out that fact, if this movie exists to be like, you know, you're taking one little thing about me and making it worthy of me not being alive, like that's insane. That's outlandish. So if that's what this is poking fun at, and its intent is to just try to like point that out so that people maybe stop and think for a minute before they just instantly hate, I think that's a good thing. At this point, people can't see the movie, but the information's out there and people have already made their decisions. There's people on the right that think that this is supposed to be some like liberal murder escapade, and you have other people that think that this is going to encourage people to commit mass acts of violence, but I just don't think that that's its intent. I don't think that that's what it's going to do. I don't think that's what it can do. By releasing it, you give people the option to watch it. You give people the option to know what the story is. Not that that helps. I literally just did that story the other day where somebody was freaking out about the Manson murders not being prominent enough in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, even though he openly stated that that was just supposed to be the backdrop for the story, not the point of the story. So regardless of, people can literally have all the information, watch something, and then still come up with some like asinine argument as to what they think something's supposed to be, which I'm sure would happen here. But if this is literally just supposed to make the point of we so quickly judge other people and don't take the time to try to reason with people, I'm all for that message. That's a great message in my opinion. Zobel even wanted to say that his hope for the film going as follows was, my hope would be that people will reflect on why we are in this moment, where we don't have any desire to listen to each other. And if I'm lucky, some of us will ask each other, how did we get here? And where do we want to go moving forward? Because there's no doubt that the moment we're in right now is a pretty scary one, especially in the US. It's so divided. Tensions are just so raised. So will The Hunt ever see the light of day? I'm assuming so. Like I said, it's either just gonna hit like straight to streaming, or maybe they'll end up quietly releasing it a few months down the road. I personally really want to see it. I'm down to watch pretty much any movie, but I'm always into stuff like this that might be trying to make a bigger statement. And the fact that it was testing well with audiences bodes well for me. So let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section down below. Did you watch the trailer? Did you have any idea about the movie before it started getting brought up in this drama? Love to hear your thoughts. Try to keep it civil, and I'll catch you all later.